It's leaning forward. It's leaning forward a bit. Hang on a minute. There you go.
Yeah.
That's better.
Hi,
Hi, Dave.
right.
Yeah.
We missed you last night at Twickenham.
Sorry.
We missed you last night at Twickenham.
Yeah. I didn't do last night. Busy.
Was your good show?
Mm.
Well, it was for me. Probably too simple for you, but for us.
Oh, I doubt it.
No, well, it's good. It's very good. Yeah.
There's three moving about there.
You're still a bit fuzzy, Aid. We'll have to treat you to a new camera.
Me? No. What I need is a new laptop. Thank you.
Is it?
Yeah, you can buy me one if you like.
You look very soft focused.
Yeah, I know.
That's all the good-looking women.
Never mind that. As long as you can see the pictures of my trees, all right. It doesn't matter.
Right then. Hello, Tony.
Hello, David.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting about soils last night, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah.
Got to turn the heating off. Too bloody hot in here.
Adrian, I've just been on to Google and I've the pictures of willows as bonsai. There's
Yeah,
some beauties there.
there are there? Oh, good.
Yeah, there was a lovely one on Facebook yesterday on British Bonsai Club.
All right.
Yeah, fabulous willow, all the way, all the branches almost all the way back down to the pot. Sorry, I meant Alistair, not Adrian.
Hang on, we haven't got an Alistair.
Your audio's off, mate. You're muted.
Yeah, my dog was walking. Every time someone joins the group, the doorbell rings
Ah,
and it sets her off. So I tried to stop. Now, I was the one with a willow.
Yeah, there's some beautiful ones. I've got it on Google on my other screen. Yeah.
I'll have a look.
I just put in willow as bonsai. Some crackers.
There was a chap when we went to Devon a couple of years ago to collect the pots from Dan. And there was a chap there pruning a willow, and it had a stump probably as thick as my arm, probably up here. And it had the fountain effect.
Yeah.
And it was lovely, absolutely beautiful. I didn't get his name, but he was a local.
I had a willow many years ago, but and it was a dwarf willow. And rather than grow it in a weeping willow style, I just used to cut it back every year, so it was like a pollard willow. And then it died.
maybe it didn't like it.
I've got one in a bread crate, which is a big stump I dug out of a neighbour's garden. Used to be, Jeff. It's too heavy for me to lift and take anywhere.
No.
But and I just cut it back probably by about a half each year.
Yeah.
It's fabulous catkins.
Oh, really?
It's best. It's twisted
Oh,
willow,
lovely.
contorted willow.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's gorgeous catkins. But then after that, it gets those big green leaves that curl up.
Yeah.
Looks like it's got aphids in it, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
You've seen it, Dave. You've watered it for me.
Probably. But doesn't it grow in water then?
No. As long as you keep it watered, it'll grow. It doesn't need any more water than anything else.
No.
Mm.
But if anybody would like to take it on, it's bring a trailer.
I grew a willow years ago. I passed it on to someone else. Must have been about 15 years ago or something. And every winter, I used to literally coil wrap the whole tree, so you keep the branches hanging down rather than wiring them individually. Obviously, in the spring, you'd have to wire them individually because the ends of the branches just turned up. But yes, you used to spend all winter in a coil.
Julian. Even
It's
Julian.
kind of
Hi, Julian.
Hello.
defeated the object of actually only really being able to look at the tree for 6 months.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Hi,
Well, we
Julian.
can- Sorry.
I was saying hello to Julian.
Ah,
Oh, right.
He's doing the dark bit again, isn't he?
Yeah.
yeah.
Develop films in there as well.
Is it that dark in here?
Oh dear. Okay, so shall we kick off? We got got enough to make a start.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's interesting news about Akadama then, is there?
Excuse me.
What's that?
Well, we heard last night that importing Akadama is difficult now, and it's put the price up a bit.
It's stuck in the Suez Canal.
Is it?
Not quite as local, not as quite as recent as that. I think it's partially to do with COVID and the conditions they have now for the shipping.
Actually, the thing is, they're in the middle container that's on the top of that ship. That's why we ain't got any.
That's why they can't lift the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a general problem at the moment for China, Japan, and the Far East. Has been for a few months now. And it's to do with the number of containers because of PPE and everything. All the containers are this side of the world and not over in China and Japan. And whatnot.
Yeah.
So trying to get anything.
Because I think they
sensible.
changed what they did. They used to they ship a container out and never wanted it back. It was
Yeah.
included in the cost of the product. But now, for reasons I don't know why, but they have them back now because they're
Yeah.
not producing them like they were.
And that's the problem is that all the containers.
Log jam of
Yeah,
containers.
all
on there.
I was going to say all the containers are over here.
Yeah,
So trying to export anything out of Japan, China, Vietnam, that way and what have you is going to be massively expensive simply because of the cost of actually getting containers.
well, yeah, because they're going to be sending them if they're not exporting nothing there of any great quantity, they're going to have the cost of shipping them back almost on an empty ship.
Yeah.
So that's going to cost money. Whereas the way they were doing it before, that the cost of container was written off.
Yeah.
And they just produced new ones, so you was only a one-way traffic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, they reckon it will settle down in about 4 to 6 months and go back
Mm.
to where it was. But in the interim, until they can get the number of containers they need, it's a buyer's market.
Mm.
Sorry, seller's market.
I know. Colette said she wasn't expecting any more Akadama until September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot depends on who you buy it from.
Did you give you an update in terms of the buyer gold?
It was due in fairly soon.
Yeah. It's not that we need it at the moment, but it's
No, I spoke to her a week or so ago, and she was expecting it fairly soon. She's going to let me know when it's in anyway. So there might be a very slight difference in price, but it's not going to be than a couple of quid.
Yeah.
A couple of pounds. It's not going to be 98 quid like it is on. You look on Amazon, they want 98 quid.
Is there as much as that on there?
Huh?
Is there as much as that on there?
Yeah, I've seen it at 88 plus the carriage
Goodness me.
for 5 kilos. I mean, a kilo is I've seen it as like 30 quid for a kilo. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we'll see anyway. Shouldn't be too long.
Has anyone come across carbon gold?
Well, carbon gold.
carbon gold.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's what they use on full-size trees. I was just wondering if anyone's had any experience of it.
No.
But I'll look into it myself then.
There was
Talk about the
a
biochar.
Sorry?
Talk about biochar.
No, well, I'll look into it and see what's what. But
Yeah.
it's just they use it for, let's say, for feeding full-size trees. It's a pellet.
Oh, I don't know.
ground
No.
down,
No.
rather than a liquid feed. I was just looking at it as a possible alternative to biogold.
Yeah. Yeah.
there was a product mentioned last night that one of the chaps uses on box trees commercially called multi-mite seaweed. And he says it makes a very big difference. It brings the colour out better in multi-mite, M-I-T-E, I've written. But he buys it commercially with his company.
Yeah.
Might be worth a look. But then seaweed
Might be worth a look. Yeah, very funny.
like that.
I mean, cold pressed seaweed is, there's plenty of cold pressed seaweed. I've got about 3 litres of the stuff.
I've got plenty. I bought a new lot of it, but I also bought some powdered seaweed, and I thought I'm going to try that and see how that
All
goes.
right.
That on your dinner.
Yeah, right.
Where did you get that from? Hey,
Chinese shop.
I'd have to check that. I'll send you the details,
okay.
Jeff.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
found
Would
good
you-
old-fashioned 6 times chicken manure. I just sprinkled it over this time of the year. It's done wonders.
It depends on what
Yeah.
trees you want to put it on. You don't want to put it on a finished tree.
And what
No.
stage?
Oh
is
no,
it?
I bury it. I bury it.
No, not the. It can be too
Nitrogen.
much fertilizer for a established finished tree.
Yeah, you wouldn't use it on an established tree.
Gentlemen, I have no finished trees. I'm sorry.
Well,
There
that's
you
fair
go.
enough. That's fair enough. But
Universal bent stick in a pot. You see me?
Yeah, I mean, I have used chicken manure, but then I read a little bit about it, and one of the problems is you don't really know what balance of nutrients you're getting.
that's right.
Anyway, they're saying thank you out there by coming to leave.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
AD, this dried seaweed,
Yeah,
are you just casting that onto the surface? Is
yeah.
that-
I've tried sprinkling it on the surface of a few trees.
Yeah.
Those trees the trees that I don't really want to give any real oomph to
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
time of the year, to hold them back, just a little bit of that. I mean, I don't think it's really any different to using the liquid seaweed, but I just thought I'd try it. I can circulate the details of what
Okay.
I've got if you like.
Yeah, because I've tended to use seaweed more as a tonic than actually feed.
Well, yeah, it
Yes.
is, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm putting it on the trees that I'm not feeding.
The liquid seaweed that I get recommends using it as a foliar feed.
Yes.
Yeah, a bit difficult with the powdered stuff, Tony. I found it didn't really stay on the leaves. Like.
Doesn't it not when it's raining? It comes from under the water after all.
It's going to be one of those evenings.
I need some help with a tree that I've got a video of. So
Oh,
would you
man.
like to give me your views?
Yeah.
It's particularly about renewing carving. So I will minimize my view and do that as well. And then look at this. I better share screen, I suppose. Ooh,
It would be helpful.
hold on. Stop. It won't stop. That's better. Hold on. Share screen. Share. Start again. Right. Dave and Jeff have seen this.
Oh,
Yeah.
They've worked on it. Now,
Fight for a little lighter.
yeah, you need your gloves on.
Mm.
There are 4 different colours on the tree where there's been carving, but it's a bit neglected because I never known how to refresh the carving. I've got some lime sulphur.
4 areas.
I wouldn't use lime sulphur on a Berberis.
Okay, good.
The white area.
I mean, possibly you need to just go over it with a hand carver, just to take the surface off, and then wood hardener will preserve
Yeah.
it.
That's what I was going to say, Jeff. Use wood hardener. So then you can see the natural colour of it,
Yeah, yeah.
Tony.
Well, I think that's been done before, and it's just discoloured now. But
Yeah.
where it's been carved, it's very thin in some parts.
Yeah, if you go over it with a carver, with a router or whatever chisel, just to take the surface off, and
Well,
that will
at the
refresh
top-
it, won't it?
At the
Yeah.
top here, there is very little. It's very thin before you get to the bark. So I was
Right.
thinking of using a wire brush there.
Well, or wire brush, yeah,
Yeah, on a
Yeah.
or
Dremel.
sandpaper.
Well, on a Dremel.
What,
No,
just
by
a wire
hand.
brush to clean
Hand.
it up?
Yeah. But here, some of these holes are quite badly soft. You know, I have to dig them out.
Yeah, just
Just going to close in a bit. Sorry if it makes you
who's
dizzy.
that coming?
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's Graham.
Yeah.
Evening, Graham.
Told you.
Yeah, if you. That's what
Hi,
I would
Jeff.
do. A knife or a little chisel and just dig out the soft stuff.
I've been doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then coat it with wood hardener.
This one here look, is a good example of the discoloration. That's been debarked and carved into the hole at the top.
Yeah,
So there's not much left to carve on parts of that. It's too thin. And then there's this big hole up at the back.
As you can see, it's carved all the way up to here, all down here.
I have on long-term projects, deciduous with carving and what have you, I have actually used lime sulphur, accepting the fact that it takes about 2 seasons before it actually looks anywhere decent. But the lime sulphur has protected the wood, equivalent to wood hardener. But it takes about 18 months, a good year plus 18 months, before the lime sulphur actually starts to look natural. But I tend to use it where I'm, like in this case, where I'm really worried that I've got a lot of soft wood developing.
Okay.
But it's not something that I'd recommend that, you know, if you were thinking about sharing a tree in the same season,
No.
it would just look odd.
Yeah.
I mean, lime sulphur doesn't preserve, does it? It doesn't
Well,
actually.
it doesn't harden. It does preserve, but it doesn't harden.
Right.
But what you're trying to do is you're trying to actually build a layer on the wood to stop water ingressing into the wood.
Yeah.
So in effect, you're trying to create a barrier. But it's something I've only really done with deciduous in extreme cases. I've got a carved hawthorn, which I use it on about probably every 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, you know, I wouldn't exhibit or look to exhibit the tree for at least 18 months or so after that, because it just looks unnatural.
Yeah. Harry Harrington uses super glue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, done
Yeah.
that.
I tried that too. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Very useful. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing with super glue is you've got to wire brush it afterwards because you get it like a glaze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it ends up a bit shiny, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it certainly preserves the wood. I've used it on privet and things like that, and it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Stops it rotting away.
Yeah, it's sort of like the last chance saloon.
Yeah,
I've got a tin of wood hardener, so I'll probably use that.
Yeah.
yeah.
More
So
natural.
You need to clean it up first.
Tony?
Yeah,
What are you trying to carve?
I don't want to carve anything. I just
Just
want
want
to
to get the dead soft wood.
Yeah.
yes,
All right.
and get the colour back
Yeah.
because it's blended in with the bark now.
Mm.
Can't hardly see it. But
Would you-
okay, folks, thank you very much for that. That's
Tony,
okay.
isn't Berberis a soft wood anyway? Quite a soft fibrous wood.
I've not taken anything substantial off, so I don't know. I got it from Anthony.
It's bright yellow when you cut into it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that where I cut. Oh no, you can't. I cut the branch. I cut some of these side bits off after I'd filmed it this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can see that it's a bit like Mahonia, isn't it?
Yeah.
But why don't you, Tony, why don't you bring it over next week
Mm.
on Thursday? Because Anthony's going to be there.
All right. Okay.
So that might be quite useful to know, or get some advice from him as to what he would think.
Yeah, because there's a socket in the shed there. I could bring my Dremel
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Yeah. I've got the code number now.
All right. Okay.
Dave's probably got it anyway.
Yeah.
No, I've forgotten it. It's so long since I've been there.
I've written it on the top of my toolbox.
Ah. You can do the same with the padlock for the cupboard.
Yes. Okay. Is that a number combination?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise, what do you do with the keys?
Yeah.
It's much better to have. Hi, Mike. It's much better to have a combination which everybody can have than to try and lose keys and
yeah. Long as more than one of us has got the combination, we're all right.
Oh yeah. That's not a problem.
So would you carve that back to the yellow wood, Tony?
No need. I just want to. Well, if the heartwood yellow as well, because I think it's probably just the cambium that's yellow.
No, the whole wood's yellow, Tony.
It's yellow all the way through.
Okay.
But it's only yellow when it's freshly cut. Then it will turn just a dull sort of khaki colour.
Okay. All right. In that case, the answer to your question, David, is yes.
Well, it'd be nice to carve it back to the yellow, then put hardener on it, it'll probably stay bright yellow.
Yeah. Maybe.
That'll be an interesting image.
Maybe I ought to leave it before I harden it. Then leave it to change colour naturally.
Well, would look nice yellow, wouldn't it? Nice yellow.
Well,
against the red flower when it comes out.
No, the flower's yellow.
No, but the leaf is yellow.
Oh yeah.
Red.
Red.
The leaf is red.
Yeah. Well, it's leafing up now, as you saw.
Mm.
Oh well. Okay. Thank you for that. That's helpful. I'll bring it Thursday. I'll have to wear my gloves though. I don't want to get
prickly.
Well, not only that. As soon as I get prickled by one, I get septic.
Ooh.
They're nasty. That's why I let Dave and Jeff work on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy doing my own job. So.
I've got very thick rubber gloves to work on that with as well.
Yeah. Evening, Mike. How you doing?
Evening. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, hello, Mike.
Hi.
Has anybody else got a tree we can look at? I can see Ian has.
Aid's got one.
Oh, sorry.
Go with Aid and then we'll go down to Ian.
All right.
You want mine first?
I've
All
got
right.
something as well,
Let's see if I can get it. Right. you still there?
Yeah.
So I can't see you. I'm just trying to get this to load up. Oh, it might take a little while. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh,
We can only see you at the moment.
oh, shame. Shame. Oh, perhaps I should have loaded this up earlier.
Well, let's carry on then, and when you're ready, you can let us know.
My laptop seems to take ages to load photos.
Yeah.
So it's probably all the porn that's on here.
Bonsai porn.
Tree bonsai porn. I hasten to add, yeah, bonsai porn. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's the difference, mate?
Trees with no leaves on, you mean?
Yeah. Oh,
There's Rachel coming in.
oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
yeah.
heard that at the wrong point.
Can anybody see anything yet?
No, you're not
Oh.
sharing, mate.
Well, I thought I was sharing, but
You've got to share twice.
have I?
Yeah, in two different places. One on the main screen,
Oh,
and then one on
crikey.
the smaller screen that comes up.
Yeah, usually. Here we go. Right, let's share again.
Ah,
You got that?
yeah.
That's better.
Have you got this?
Now we've got a black screen at the
Oh,
moment.
yeah.
Have you got a picture of a tree?
There
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, we've got it.
Right. Okay.
Well, it's not really a tree, it's a stump.
A stump. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a stump. This is a 20-year journey with a field maple that I bought. Actually, probably a little more than 20 years. It was certainly around about 2000 that this photograph was taken. I bought this field maple from Bob over at Dundry, if anybody remembers Bob over at Dundry. And this field maple had some amazing roots on it. Now, can you see my little arrow?
Yeah.
There was a massive root that I cut off. And unfortunately, it left quite a big scar. Now, the rest of it I liked. So it was just very fortunate that I had a lump of lava rock which fitted in there just nicely. So I planted it snug up against this lava rock in this wonderful purple. Can you see the purple cat tray?
Yeah.
No cat litter in there though, Jeff. Right. So that was it when I got it and potted it up the first time. Now I've got a problem here because I got pictures of you guys and I can't, so it means I can't press the arrow for the next picture. How do I get there?
There it is.
There it is now. We can
Oh,
see
there
it
it
now.
is. Right. So I let it grow as you do for a year. It took off, I can tell you. And I think part of the reason for that is lava rock contains a lot of nutrients, as I've discovered. Anyway, there it is, and you can see that big old scar there where I took the root off. So that's probably a year or so later. This is probably a few years later. You can see it's out of the cat tray now in fact, it's still in this pot, as you will see. But there's a big old scar there. I think this is probably about, a good 5 years later, maybe longer. But it's healed right over, but there's a massive scar there. So I carry on. Right, between that picture and the last picture, you'll see that I've taken another root off. Can you see this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I decided to take that one off as well. And what that does is it gives a bit more movement to the trunk. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It distracts from the big lump as well.
Sorry?
The new scar distracts from the old big one.
Well, it means I've got two scars then, doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a sense it does. Now this would have been about 2010, this picture here. I mean, it's coming on nicely, but it's still got that big scar. Now I've got another scar. That's a picture, that would have been about 4 or 5 years ago.
Hey, have you thought of drilling out the big scar?
Oh, come on, hang on a minute. Let me finish, Nigel.
Sorry, sir. I'm trying to think of the Japanese name for it.
You're absolutely right. One of the things that the branch structure's coming on, all right, but one of the things that happened was I got some dead bark here. And with the dead bark, I thought, how about drilling out some of that, Nigel? So that's what I did. So in the next picture, you see I've taken out both of those scars and taken it down into the bit of dead bark that was there. So you're absolutely right, Nigel, and that's what I did. But you got one jump ahead of me. So that was the tree. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. So I actually carved it out a bit deeper there. And then I think I've got a picture taken just a day or two ago. Here we are. Yeah. So that's the tree as it is now.
Nice.
That's nice.
Nice.
I say, still in the same pot. Still got a bit more of the ramification to finish off, but very happy with the tree overall.
It looks like it's bound itself a lot tighter to the rock.
It just fits naturally, Ian. I mean, yes, it probably has, yeah, but it seemed to just fit in there anyway. I mean, it's like the rock and the tree were made for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so got a little bit more to do with the ramification and perhaps carve some of that a little bit deeper, but yeah, quite happy with that. It's reaching a point where I might be able to show it now.
I agree.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
Field maple, yeah, I like field maples. I think they're really nice trees to work on.
And you say that's taken 20 years?
20? Yeah, that's 20 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't sow any seeds, Dave. Too late.
No.
If I knew then what I know now, I probably could have done it in half the time, but there you go. You live and learn, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
There we are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a little journey.
Very, very nice.
Jolly good.
Okay. Ian, you're going to show us that tree there that nearly fell over earlier?
yeah, it's better supported now.
Oh, good.
No, I just grabbed it out of the shade tunnel because simply it's just coming into leaf. It's, for me, it's that sort of exciting time of the year. You know, there's a lot of work to do before the summer image is finalized, particularly towards the edges here and on the far side, really just to actually increase the dome effect. But at the moment, I'm quite happy just to leave her to come out and what have you.
What variety is it, Ian?
Kashima.
Kashima.
Yeah, Kashima. If you bear with me, I'll show you her big brother.
Okay.
You've probably got a measure of me, as I tend to grow similar trees in different sizes. I'm quite intrigued that you go from almost shohin. I don't really grow anything marme, but I tend to like to grow shohin through to the middle size to the larger size in the same species and type. And this is, you know, the traditional broom, and I've grown a smaller one and a bigger one, and right, share. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that's today. That was literally 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock this evening. Again, she's quite a raggedy image at the moment because she hasn't filled out. But for me, it's, you know, this is, I've been waiting, I don't know how many months now,
Yeah.
to bud break. And I just get wildly excited about it. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, my
That's all right.
Kiyohimi's coming out nicely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, my Kiyohime's probably a little bit further on than this.
Yeah.
But I've got literally a Shohin size Kashima, again grown in the broom style. But I like them as a tree. They do seem to have quite a natural habit towards broom style. It's
Yeah.
sort of it's an easier thing to work with the tree than really trying to work against it. Anyway, for what it's worth, spring.
Good.
Very nice, Ian.
Thank you.
Your trees are very advanced. Mine are still all buds.
Well, we reckon we're about 3 to 4 weeks behind last year
Yeah.
at the moment.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
But because of where I live, it's, you know, we're quite high, we're quite exposed. We live below a ridge line, so we get a lot of cold air at night that drops down off the ridge. So
Yeah.
I generally tend to be, well, the trees tend to be 2 to 3 weeks behind everyone anyway.
Mm.
But we've noticed this year with the magnolias and the beeches, full size and everything, that everything's sort of about 3 to 4 weeks behind.
Mm.
Yeah.
But for me, exciting times.
Yeah.
They're starting to push. The
Yeah.
beeches haven't yet, but the hornbeams, hawthorn,
Yeah.
maples, tridents are well out, or starting to get well out. But the Kashima always beats for me, always beats the tridents out.
Mm.
All right. Okay.
But the mountain maples, the buds are swelling, but they're nowhere near breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it all depends which
Mine the same.
variety, isn't it? You know, like Kashima and Kiyohimi are very early, and some of them are much, much later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
depends on the variety.
my big groups, big single.
I've got lots of Orange Dream just coming out now.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an early variety, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I worry more about my Japanese beech because they're always the last to come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like weeks after. I've convinced myself by the time that they do open that they're dead.
No.
Yeah, I know. I just, you think, I don't panic, but you just resign yourself to the fact that it's not going to happen this year. And then they do.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Last year, I reported to you that my hornbeams had died. That the leaves had all fallen off in the summer, having gone black. Well, one of them's in full leaf already.
What?
It wasn't dead, it was just shamming.
Yeah. What do we know?
Trying to catch you out.
Well, you're in good company. I told Jeff, almost been 5-6 years ago, I'd killed my hornbeam. Because it just, for whatever reason, it went downhill in about 3 years. And finally, as you go into winter, you think, well, that's it.
Mm.
So I made the mistake of telling Jeff I'd killed it. Of course, the bugger came back full of vim and vigor the next year.
But I did remember what you told me when I told you in the autumn what happened to it.
Yeah.
And so I'm keeping it in the shade because it was obviously overexposed to the hot sun in the summer. And we're going to get 20 degrees next week, aren't we? One of the days.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it needs to be under a tree with some leaves on, under an apple tree or something.
Cold nights, though.
Yeah.
Quite a big temperature swing.
Well, I've got it up against the house at the moment, which is where I keep the bigger trees during the winter.
Yeah, excellent.
Although it's north facing, which tends to negate any shelter that it's got, but it does retain some warmth in the brick, which gives it a bit of protection. I'd rather do that than nothing at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is looking nice. Okay, Jeff, what?
I've got a tree that Julian sent me, and then I've got a couple of mine.
Go
So
for it.
we'll You'll be there in a sec. There he is. There we go. Oh, hang on. Did you send me one picture or two?
I just gave you two, but I mean,
Okay.
either of them would do, because what I'm looking at is a Hickory cypress,
Right.
and it's growing sort of quite quickly. And I'm
Um,
wondering, how do I sort of start getting it back into shape?
yeah.
It's all like little cups, and I'm
Um,
getting one on top of another and another and another.
That's
And how do I just go around and start to cut them off?
yeah. Let me just put that in there.
Didn't Peter Warren do a YouTube video on Hinoki cypress last year?
Oh,
I got a feeling you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could go back and look at that, Julian.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're very slow growing as a tree.
This is actually gone
I've got another picture here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Let's see. This is the other one. Is that the right way round?
Yeah, that's okay. No, it's okay, because what I'm interested in is the sort of how the leaves are actually sort of moving into little couplets. And I'm not sure if I start to cut them out, how do I make sure I keep on getting a rather nice area, a bloom, sort of something that looks quite nice and not just scrappy.
I mean, I think you can. There looks like there's. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
There's two branches there.
Yes.
Very, very close together. I wonder whether either you need to remove one, or you might be able to wire the branch, separate the two and wire them down. So wire them flatter, and then do the same as you go along. And probably some of this needs to come off.
Yeah. I mean, if you see where I'm near the end, it looks, you can see they're like platelets really, where you've got sort of one plate, one plate, one plate. And I'm not sure, how do I go in and start cutting them sort of one or in twos or threes, or I don't want to sort of end up with just 3 or 4 bits of on it.
No.
But you can see it, so it's in sort of like little couplets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a little cup.
Yeah, but that's
do mine like a juniper.
Yeah, but that's its natural growth habit. What Jeff was alluding to, I think is the right approach, which is to start to clean up the underside of the branch. Because if you remove and tidy up the underside, you improve the general image, because then you get to see the branch itself and the foliage suspended over the branch. And actually, in that photograph Jeff's got up now, if you did clean the underside, you'd actually have almost a natural pad as it diminishes to the point. of the branch, if you follow my drift. I've seen
Yeah,
a number of quite large Inoki cypress bonsais, and the bonsai artists have tended to have left the foliage in that sort of cupped shape, the individual florets or whatever they're called. And it's actually quite an impressive image in its natural form.
So I go for that sort of couplet type arrangement. Is that right?
Well, yeah, the nearest equivalent, I think, as someone said, is looking at it as a juniper, where to manage the foliage on a juniper, rather than giving it sort of like a haircut all over, what you do is you go selectively back down the leaders.
Yes.
But as I said, having seen a number of these Hinokis with the natural leaf shape being left, actually, in terms of the general and overall image, very, very impressive.
All right. Oh, so they're looking reasonable. So what I need to do is to sort of start going over it and having a look and seeing what I want to keep and what I want to throw away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more about selective pruning of the selecting the removal of the leaders.
Yes.
In the leaf pattern, rather than actually an overall haircut.
Well, that's really good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's right.
Let me have a look and see what I just got one or two other, but this is a Forsythia that I've got, flowers quite well. It's not my favourite tree by any stretch of the imagination, but it does flower. Hasn't been repotted for a considerable length of time.
Really?
But it still grows and it still flowers. And my chochabai has finally decided to open one of the flowers.
Yay!
They've been there for a couple of months, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, possibly. Some of them have opened and dropped off, not opened properly. But then this one, and it's, as you can see, is coming into leaf as well. And there's some more buds. There's some more flower buds on there, so it might be a reasonable display.
Very nice.
This is the other one. This is the Canamelis. Tends to have, it's just coming into buds, loads of buds on it. Nothing opened yet. I took these a couple of days ago in the sun. And it was quite a nice. They have several colours. See, that one there is likely to be white, whereas that one is a red one. And those look like they're going to be red. And they do vary in colour on the same. Brilliant. This is one I bought from Lodders. Do you remember, Tom?
Yeah.
When we were over there last.
You bought one from that chap in Basingstoke as well, didn't you?
Yeah. That didn't last long. Or I sold it.
All right.
I sold it. Now this is a strange. I've got two Japanese maples here, both very similar in size, repotted on the same day, and the buds at the time were like basically really like this. The other one is like that, and that's gone like that in about 2 weeks. Incredible. They're both the same sort of variety. They're both palmatum. They're both similar size. They were both, I think they're both grafted. That's grafted, definitely. They're actually not mine, they're Pat's. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in my garden.
One's in a pond bowl, Jeff.
Sorry?
One's in a pond bowl. That's a different.
It is, yeah.
That's why it's
that one is. That's in the pond basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Prunus mume, which a couple of weeks ago I was going to repot and change the angle, and it wasn't going to be at this angle. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, what happened, I went to take it out of the pot, and the pot has got a crack in it. So rather than use the same pot and risk it breaking, because I can repair it, I looked around and I found this. It's quite shallow, and the only way that the tree would go was like this. And actually, it works. So I'm quite pleased. It's actually a Dan Barton pot. It's only about 50 mil deep. Yeah, probably about 50 millimeters deep, I would think. But I gave it a good prune, put it back on the shelf, and I'm waiting for it to come into leaf now. So there we are. That's my offering anyway.
Look, it looks very much like an insect there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. Okay.
We're working on the basis of Ian's basis, where he likes the 3 different sizes of the same species. I took some pictures today of my Forsythia.
All right.
That I was going to save for Taunton, but I'm happy to do that. So if I
go on.
Get rid of that one. Oh, here we go, and give you this one. This was a cutting from the hedge at the front of our house. Probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. I dug in it.
Nice. Yeah.
That's on a classroom table, to give you a bit of scale.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's in a pot that Julian sold me years ago. Do you recognise it, Julian?
I think I do.
Yeah.
It's quite a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But this, I just put it in there this spring, and just before it flowered, just caught it right. So that's the big boy.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then the little one. Obviously, I'm going to take the tops out and trim it down once it's finished flowering. I can't see how to get rid of that one. Let's stop share and then start again, and then share again. No, I can't do it.
Reduce the screen size and it'll move it to the left.
Oh, hang on, wrong way. No. There it is.
There you go.
That's the little one.
Lovely.
That's better. I've just repotted that as well.
Yeah.
Nice in the blue pot too.
Well, I did have that in mind, Adrian. It stuck in my mind because you've seen this before.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's just beginning to. It's a bit crowded here, and here. So the flowers have actually given me a clue as to where to thin it out. But that would be done when the flowers are finished. And the roots are a bit of a mess as well. But I couldn't. I didn't have the heart to pull this ball apart when I repotted it.
No.
Perhaps next year I'll feel a bit braver.
Yeah, I generally repot mine after it's flowered.
Right.
I've always done that with Forsythia. Repot after they flowered, and then give them a good old trim as well.
Yeah. It hasn't made too much of a difference. Having potted it before it flowered.
No, it probably makes no difference at all.
It was worth a try anyway. I had a list of deciduous trees to repot.
Yeah.
And I think I've just finished. I had about 100. So I'm absolutely having a break at the moment before I start on the evergreens and the conifers.
I'll tell you what, Tony, it's a salutary reminder for me, as much as anyone will have you, is it just reminds you, bigger isn't always best.
No.
No, it's quite compact.
Yeah.
And it's quite robust. It sits on the shelf by the garage and it gets full strength wind.
Mm.
You know, and I've got a Kojo no Mai cherry beside it in full flower at the moment, because they're both quite pretty.
Yeah.
And they both take, I mean, you can see how scrawny the branches are, the trunks. They
Yeah.
both take the cold weather quite well. But then it's an early spring tree anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, my Forsythia.
My experience, Tony, and I've grown Forsythias. I've just got the one at the moment, but I've grown them for 40 years as bonsai. They're almost indestructible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really tough, and they just come back year after year. But I find that mine needs repotting every year because they just produce so much root in one season. It's unbelievable.
Well, this has been in a bread crate, this big one.
Yeah.
Probably 5 years.
Really? Yeah.
Without being repotted. This is the first time I've repotted it.
Well, I find after one season in a bonsai pot, they're pushing themselves out the top.
Yeah. This wasn't over rooted. I mean, I didn't repot this. Jeff and Dave were the ones who repotted this because I had too many to dig out from my little arboretum. And we had the club over one Saturday and dug them all out. And whoever repotted this one put it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
So that
it was Dave, not me.
I know you said that, Jeff. No,
it was facing the flat end was facing the short end of the pot. So this bit was facing that way.
Yeah.
So having repotted it, it sits better this way round. Yeah. And if you notice, I can't get the arrows back. No, that's the wrong one. Look at the colour. Compare the colours. All right, this one was indoors.
Might be a different variety, Tony.
I think it is. I think it is. And there's something like 5 or 6 different colours.
Yeah.
So I might look out for some different varieties.
They do make lovely little bonsai. Just for that little time in the spring when they're flowering, I think they're great.
Yeah, I agree.
They have
what height is that, Tony?
This one, it's about 9 inches to a foot.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
they have a lovely autumn colour as well. They go like a butter yellow.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. The leaf. I've tended to find with my Forsythia, in terms of repotting, is that this in the spring, if it's flowering less vigorously than the year before, I know the next year to repot, because although the leaves are strong, well fed, you know from that the next spring display will be less flowers again. Whereas if you repot it, it tends to revigorate the tree.
Yeah.
And the flowering starts to recover and repeat.
Yeah.
It probably goes very much with your experience, AD, that repotting more frequently is probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Well, thank you for that. That was helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty. I can't.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What was that way? That was the big one. What else is there? There's that one. And that's it. I cannot find the button to reduce the size of the screen so that I can get rid of it. Oh, there we go. Got it. How's that? Stop share. Go away. That's it.
Is that jolly good?
Okay. Anybody else got something we can look at?
I've got two of passing interest, if I may, Tony.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me just move stuff around a little bit. I go to share screen. Can you see it?
On the side.
In a minute.
It's on its side, is it?
No, it's hanging on the wall. It's a new bonsai style.
Unfortunately, it's vertical. I'm looking at it.
There is one vertical, 2021B.
21B.
Yeah, 25th of March 2021B is upright. The one that's marked A is on its side.
Okay, we'll go to B. What it is, it's how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a larch that's in full flower, and I find that within about 2 weeks, every one of those flowers is a cone. I don't know if that's typical.
That's right.
Yeah.
The speed that they go into cones is unbelievable. I know it's a twin trunk and that these two are the same height, and I should reduce it down, but I haven't got the heart to do it, frankly. And I repotted it at the back end last year, and the winds we had about a fortnight ago has now dislodged it, so the whole thing leans, unfortunately. So I just wondered if it was typical, this amount of flowering.
It's not unusual, Nigel. But you might want to take some of them off, not let it have too many.
Yeah.
And coming back to your two trunks, I would definitely take out the top of that right-hand one.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious where it needs to come out.
About here?
Just, you've got quite a thick piece at the top with no shoots.
Can you see my cursor?
No.
No.
No, move it about. No, can't see it.
I think what you're saying, Ed, because there is a heavy shadow there. I took this yesterday morning. Yeah, I'll take some of the flowers out because it does drain energy, doesn't it, making cones? Okay, thank you, gents.
Well done, thank you.
Okay.
I didn't realise the larch flowered.
Oh yeah.
I've got 3, but I've only had them a year. I haven't come into flower yet.
Oh, they don't always.
Yeah. I've got lots of larches, but this is the only one that does flower.
Right.
Quite attractive.
Yes.
Yeah.
They look like mini thistles.
Yeah.
To look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of mine have got flowers on, and most of them haven't. It just the way it is. I think it possibly is how stressed the tree is. If the tree is stressed for any reason, then it's more likely to flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it needs to reproduce, doesn't it?
Precisely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got any flowers on any of mine.
You're lucky.
Oh, you're doing okay.
And I have got a lot.
Yeah.
Rest of them then, by sounds of things.
I went up the mountain with Chris Thomas last year. Well, yeah, last year.
Yeah.
And collected quite a few. And I've made a couple of groups with them. And I've already got 4 groups, one of which you saw at the show, the big one with 27 trees or whatever it's got.
Yeah.
None of those have got flowers on. So perhaps I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes a change. Lots of experiments, lots of burnt trees. But you learn as you go along, as Aid said.
How would you stress it to flower?
Well, you take a risk, don't you?
Just tell it you're going to dig it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could have got dry, or it could have got knocked, or like Nigel got a bit loose in the pot, or
forget to feed it.
You know, simple thing like that. Yeah.
Don't feed it.
Yeah.
Manipulate it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that I did wrong was couple of years ago, Colette explained it to me. I thought there was a disease or something running through the trees in the front row of that big group, large group, and because of the thinness of the soil on one edge, she reckoned that the roots boiled. I was watering it in. We had one or two very hot days in March or April.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I better get out early and water. And she thinks that I boiled the roots on that side because the soil was so thin. I moved everything away from it so that any disease wasn't spread, but clearly I'd misread it, and I've replaced the trees now, but I've thickened the soil up on that side.
Yeah.
Particularly when the slab broke, it gave me the opportunity to thicken up the soil.
Yeah.
But I've still got to put a steel bar underneath, because when I used what's the glue that we were talking about? Araldite, yeah. When we put some Arald on it and put it back together again, it didn't last very long. And Dave's got a theory about Araldite and water. Haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, it doesn't like lots of moisture around it. That group that we planted on that big bit of slate, Jeff, you did it with me last year.
Yeah.
And I put it on that bamboo matrix.
Yeah.
Which I fixed down with wires araldited to the slate. Well, that I told you the other week that one of the twin trunk one of the trunks looks like it's died. But I had a closer look at it the other day, and that tree, the twin trunk, is loose on the slate, and it's not firmly attached to the rest of the trees. I've just wired it all in tight, but
yeah,
that may be what, and I think it had a bit of Tony's tree problem. It's got one side hasn't got a lot of earth around the root ball, so I reckon that the roots that side have burnt or whatever. So I was saying to Tony today, I'm thinking of making a sort of a seed tray up for it, the right shape, taking it off that piece of slate completely, putting it in the seed tray and packing soil around it, and then leave it for a couple of years to grow on, and then put it back on that slate again.
Or you could build the wall up, put some sphagnum moss on, put some fiddly akadama into it, wet sphagnum moss along that side.
Yeah.
Put some akadama on it, or your mix, whichever, and chopstick it into the sphagnum.
Right.
And that would give a barrier between the air and the roots of it, wouldn't it? Rather than take it off the slate.
Yeah.
Sphagnum moss is magnificent stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful stuff for root development.
Or you could build a little wall around it with Keto.
Well, build a wall around with Keto, but fill it in with sphagnum behind it.
I always clean that Keto that dries out so much, then it all cracks, and it doesn't seem to do the job for her. And I've got that Victus in a very shallow crookedy dish, which sort of goes with it. That's built up with Keto all the way round, and then the trees in it, and then it's all the soil was put in there, which was fine for a couple of months, but then it gradually began to dry out. Although I water it every time,
yeah,
it really does look terrible.
Have you got moss on the outside of it?
Not on the outside of it, no.
No, if you put moss around the outside of the Keto,
right,
then the moss goes into the Keto, and that'll help keep it more moist. Also, you don't use the Keto neat. What you should add some what is it? It's the sievings, the dust out of the akadama.
Right.
Just a very fine dust, and some chopped up sphagnum moss and mix all that in.
Right.
So you sort of
Wait,
it binds.
like making cob that you build houses with. Similar to that.
Well, you could.
Well, that's how they make those dad's cob walls. Have exactly that same sort of thing. They use a clay mixture mixed with, well, some sort of fibre,
Mm.
and it's all mixed together and spaded in. Then they hack it down and it sets off.
Yeah.
It doesn't break apart.
It's horse manure and straw.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I've
No, that's
got
the stuff they render with. That's
Oh.
not the actual cob.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
The cob's clay.
Yeah, but it's clay mixed with straw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And horse muck or cow muck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Horse muck, right.
I've got a big group on a slab, and I used keto around the outside, covered it with moss, sphagnum moss, and it's been on there for 8 years, 9 years.
Right.
And it's absolutely fine.
All stay together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
Yeah, whilst you've been chatting and what have you, just to explain my mysterious manoeuvring, I've called up a picture of my Forsythia in its autumn colours, if you want to see. I think as we're featuring Forsythia, I'm here to promote it. It's a fantastic tree for bonsai. I'll just promoting the fact that it has an autumn colour as well as spring.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here's Rachel again.
Hang on.
Does she know? Does she know you keep showing her off?
Yeah, but this is my Forsythia in its autumn colour.
Hmm.
And as I was saying, it's the green goes this sort of buttery yellow, and you get about, well, I get about 3 to 4 weeks autumn colour.
Yeah.
As well as 3 to 4 weeks spring flower.
Yeah.
Some of them, Ian, go quite a sort of plummy red colour.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I just, I think they're a fantastic tree.
Mm.
They're very easy to work.
Yeah.
The only thing is you've got to keep on them throughout the summer, just removing the larger leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you miss a week or what have you, you've suddenly got this long shoot growing right through the middle of the tree from the base to the top.
Yeah.
But no, if you're quite active in sort of grazing the tree throughout, they do give some lovely images.
They're very difficult to create ramification. That's the only thing.
Yeah, which is why I tend to use the foliage really just to give a general shape rather than trying to show individual branch line.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not very compliant in attempts at ramification.
No, I think I can just about argue I've got 2 good branches there, and the rest is. But as a tree, they're pretty bulletproof. For me, I would, if anyone was saying they were new to bonsai and they wanted something pretty bulletproof, Forsythia, beech birch, I'd go with.
Yeah, and start off with a cutting.
Yeah.
Edges everywhere.
Yeah.
Easy to spot. Knock on the door. Can I have a couple of clippings? They can only say no.
That's right.
When's the best time to take a cutting, Tony?
Well, it's the same rule of thumb as any shrub or tree. It's mainly semi-ripe or semi-hardwood in the autumn. That's the most successful.
Because I was going to prune our next door neighbours, which is hanging over. Just giving some ideas, thank you. I waited to flower first.
Yeah, after it's flowered. Or if you can find a branch that hasn't flowered, that'll be even higher chance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very yellow.
Yeah. My neighbour's got one that's a beautiful geometric box. He trims it. I think he uses a razor blade to cut it. Whereas the front ones I've got, I think you've all seen them. They're almost trees. They're big and bushy.
Yeah.
I keep the top trimmed off, but the sides, I have to keep one side trimmed because he rides his ride-on mower along the front bit of grass between my wall and the road. He doesn't like branches in his face. I don't want to put him off cutting my grass.
Our next door house is a rental, a young couple in it, and so this has just gone wow everywhere. So I've got some cuttings coming. Thank you for that, Tony.
Put half a dozen in a pot,
Yeah.
Law of averages, you get 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Would it improve with bottom heating?
Sorry?
Would it improve with bottom heating?
Well, it depends. I put some two sets of cuttings, some blueberries and some Lonicera purpuseae in pots in a heated propagator. But what I found is they're too hot. So I put some sand in the bottom and made the sand wet, and all I created was steam. I think the blueberries have survived, but I don't think the purpuseae has. But we'll see. I mean, they both sets have got leaves on. I've got 3 pots of one with 4 or 5 cuttings in each, and 2 pots of the other. I can't remember which way round it is, and they've all got leaves on. So it's pot like they're all from my garden. So I can take them, or if they don't take, I can wait till autumn. I'm in no hurry.
Because I found with maple, I can't strike a cutting unless I've got bottom heat.
Right. Well, if you're just starting out, I would recommend a propagator with a control on it, rather than just a fixed heat.
I've got a belt off a homebrew barrel buried in sand.
All right.
That's my bottom heat. So it's quite gentle.
Yeah. That's all. Giant sequoias. And he thought, well, I'll try these. So he collected some cones. And yesterday he sent me some photographs. He said he's researched them, and the strike rate of the germination rate is 1%. And he had 3 germinate.
Wow.
I don't know how many he sowed. He didn't tell me. But the news today is one of them's died.
Oh dear.
I sent him a small bag of Akadama because that's what he needs for it, because he's using multi-purpose compost at the moment, which is fine if you use something like Melcourt, which is all bark, but he's going to need some drainage of some sort in it. But I only sent him a very small bag because I know it's going up. And he's only got 2 now anyway.
Yeah.
Then he sent me a photograph of him standing beside or underneath one in the park, and he reckons the girth is about 30 foot.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I did congratulate him on his speedy growth of his tree, but he's going to need a bigger pot for it. I'm not sending one of them.
No. Oh well.
Has anybody got anything else to look at?
No.
No? Okay. Jeff, have you started taking names for the workshop next week?
Adrian's coming.
I'm coming.
Michael's coming.
Anthony?
Anthony's coming. Dave will be there. You'll be there, and I'm there.
6.
That's 6 at the moment.
Right.
But if anybody else wants to come, I'm going to send an email asking for people to let me know if they're coming. Yeah. And obviously, you don't need to tell me again because you've already told me. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah. Just so that everybody knows, so if they want to come, they can.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
hopefully it'll be a nice day.
With any luck. It might be the day that's 20 degrees.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Then again, it may not be.
No.
That's shorts weather, that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Shorts and t-shirts.
definitely.
Shorts and flip-flops, that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Crocs for me.
Sorry?
I wear Crocs. Don't bother with flip-flops.
Oh.
right.
Crocs.
Dave is going to have one of the bags of Akadama that I've bought,
Right.
so he's going to pay me for it.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll have the other two.
I'll bring it with me.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I'll bring it all with me.
I'm going to charge him more for it. You don't know it yet, though.
Cost of transport. I don't know why we've got to take it there. Why can't we brought around my house? I've got to pay Jeff transport, you transport, handling charges.
But it's heavy.
Oh yeah, it is, yeah. Anyway, not to worry.
I'm going to offset this against my summer watering because our normal arrangement doesn't exist anymore. Because I don't need you to do any watering for me.
What?
What?
Never mind. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll book in for Taunton's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taunton's on the
Second Wednesday.
10th, I think it is.
Yeah, it'd be about,
But-
yeah, sounds like.
Yeah, it's about right, 10th.
Yeah.
I've already set it up. So all I got to do is send you the link when it's time. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Well,
we'll see you. We'll see you when we see you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Cheers,
All
Jeff.
right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
See you all.
All the best, everybody.
Bye.
Uh,
Cheers.
Bye.